I finally got my first, I was calling this a Kajari melon. It's not. It's a Tigger melon, and it isn't punctured. This one fell off. It had holes. We have one more that's split right there, but I'm going to look at that one and see if that one's split. And I think this cantaloupe is done. Yep, it just fell off. Oh no, it's rotten at the bottom. That's so sad. I've been waiting so long for this. So the other one wasn't busted. So I have two not busted. And I'm so excited to try these. Okay, so I cleaned out all of the seeds, and all of the ones that have been busted open, I have been saving the seeds. So this is like my fourth one that has seeds that I've been saving, but I am going to now let the kids try it. Okay, try it.
Tastes like cantaloupe.
Do you like it?
Tastes good. It tastes fine.
Do you like it?
Yes, kind of, because I don't always like cantaloupe that much.
Oh, okay.
It tastes weird.
Chew it. No, chew what's in your mouth and tell me what it tastes like.
It tastes like, just weird.
Just weird?
Yeah.
So you don't like it?
Mm-mm.
I have this cantaloupe for you to try. It's called a Tigger melon.
They're really thick. It tastes good though.
So, last person to try, besides myself, would be my son. I'm distracted. Look at these turkeys. So right here, that one's a Tom because he's bigger than everybody, and he does different things with his tail feathers, and he just looks like a male. Anyway, I'm going to let my son taste this. He doesn't really like cantaloupe, so he might say it tastes weird like cantaloupe. Well, I guess I should taste it. Oh yeah, that does taste like cantaloupe. But I think it tastes good because I like cantaloupe. So actually, my son said he already tasted it when I was looking for him outside. So, and he said he didn't like it, right?
Nope.
Because you don't like cantaloupe?
Nope.
I think it tastes yummy. So I was actually outside and I just found this cantaloupe disconnected from the vine. So I brought it in and it had a little hole right there and the ant came crawling out of it. And so I just cut off the part where the ant was, and I'm going to take the seeds out of it, and I'm going to taste this one. The Tigger melon was, it was good, but I don't eat cantaloupe like that, so I thought it just tastes like regular cantaloupe, and it smelled sweeter than it was. This one smells like cantaloupe, and so I'm curious to see if it is sweeter than the Tigger melon. What do you think about that one?
I think it tastes better.
Than the other one you had?
Yeah.
What about you?
Tastes good.
Is it better? What about Al? What you think?
It tastes better than the other one.
That's good. Oh yeah, this does taste better.
Better than the other one.
Yeah, it tastes better. So I actually came outside to check the progress. I had my girls, I asked them if they can pull all of the weeds. You guys saw in my last video, I showed where all of this was completely full with weeds. So I just asked them to throw it inside these containers, and I guess they filled that one and all of these buckets. Because I don't know if I threw them on the ground, will they root into the ground and then continue to produce weeds? And then I told them they didn't have to pick like where the ant piles there. There's also ant piles through here. So this one area though still needs to be done, but they were taking a break. This tomato plant, I think this one's the Jasper, is filled with a bunch of tomatoes right there. There's some here. I'm not sure what this one is. I could go around and look. Okay, so this one's the Isis Candy. And then these two, I think, are the Jaspers. But it has lots of fruit on it. In my garden tour, I showed how I planted these dwarf okras and then completely forgot that they weren't going to get too tall. And so I wasn't looking for any okra, but I just found one that was a decent size because all the rest of them have gotten huge. If you can see that, they're like longer than the size of my hand. But I found this one that looked usable. This one, I don't know, it's maybe a little long. But I've been keeping an eye open now, checking these to see if I saw any usable ones. And this one is, I actually did not, like, I grew okra because someone said that it tasted good raw, and so I wanted to try it. I know I definitely don't like okra in what's that called? In like stews, because it gets that like, or what is it called, from New Orleans. My husband's from New Orleans and they have it inside of I can't even think of it right now. But I don't like it cooked because it gets that slimy texture, which is actually good for you. It's good for your digestion, but I don't really care for it. This okra does taste way better raw. It actually has a sweet flavor, in my opinion. This weed right here. This section of weed is just ridiculous. I need to get out here and pull this out. I have morning glory coming all through here. That's trying to take over. What are you doing?
I'm riding my bike.
I thought I heard something in here following me, and I turn around and it's Nael following me on the little bike. I have some tomatoes in this jungle, so I definitely want to come back out. Maybe I can pick it now. Oh wow. Let's see. But I see lots of tomatoes I want to come back out and get. I see some of those striped ones. There's a bunch of squash bugs on it, but there's some some striped tomatoes right there. I believe those are called zebra tomatoes, which they're like aroma. But I'm not 100% sure because all of my tomato tags were lost this year and last year. Every time I've come out here, there's been a bee. There's one here that's really tall. And then this one is the tallest in the garden. It's over the cattle panel. Actually, I lied. There's one right on the opposite side that's taller than it, but it hasn't started blooming yet. It's almost. I left these melons here from earlier, but I'm going to have the girls come out here and bring these to the chickens. I've been letting these pole beans go to seed, these noodle beans, and this is what it looks like, all dry. We can open it and see what the beans are, what they look like in the inside. I've also left these Suyo long cucumbers. There's 4 of them. I'm gonna let them get really ripe and turn yellow so I could save the seeds out of these, and then this plant will be done because obviously you can see it's pretty much done and has diseases. This cucumber I didn't save seeds from yet, so I'm gonna do that one as well. I was walking by and I just saw that this corn was open and you can actually see some coloring in there. And then on this one, the silk is pretty dry. should pull that one off. We actually did pull one off. There's one right here too that has the silk dried. We actually did pull one off and the kids ate it. It wasn't even a sweet corn variety, but they still thought it was really good. The name of the game this year for the garden has definitely been to save seeds off of anything that I can, because a lot of things that I planted the last of my seeds, and so, well, there's a squash bug, and so I'm just trying to replenish my seeds for plants that I actually enjoy growing and that I like. And so these noodle beans are definitely ones that I want to have more seeds from. I just opened one piece and I have 4 seeds in it. My daughter's opening one right there. I'm doing this one-handed. So I'll definitely have plenty of this red noodle bean seeds. So from one noodle bean, I got 3, 6, 9, 11 seeds, and I know I have lots of more that are going to seed. So I'm really excited about that. So a couple days ago, I actually Googled how many days I had until our first frost, and I think it was like 113. Our first frost is November 15th, and I saw that I think it was 113 days, and so I went looking through my seed packets just to see what other things I can plant that I had enough time for. And I really wanted to do another round of tomatoes. I took some cuttings from some of my tomato plants, but they got knocked over the water, and they were outside and I didn't catch them in time, so they all shriveled up and died. That's been my problem this year with even trying to do sweet potato starts. I put them in water, and then even in the house they will get knocked over and not seen in time, and so that's why I planted those whole sweet potatoes instead of trying to grow individual slips. So with the tomatoes, I decided that I was going to find tomato varieties that only needed a few, like the least days possible. And I had this one tomato variety from M.I. Gardner that was called the 42-day tomato. Let me see if I can find it. So this is the tomato variety, and I realized that it says it only takes 42 days to start producing, and then when you flip over on the back, so how I figured I had enough time to grow this is that it says it takes 42 days to maturity, and then you start indoors about 8 to 12 weeks before, so 8 weeks times 7, which is 56, then plus the 42 days for its maturity, because these days to maturity is once, it's not from when you plant the seed until it starts producing, it's from when you put the plant outside. So if I started a seed 8 weeks ago and then put it in outside, in 42 days I should start seeing some tomatoes. So if you add that all together, it's about like 90 days, and I figured then maybe I should have enough time to grow this. And so I actually ended up starting seeds for a few of these tomato varieties. I think there were like 32 that, like this one said it took, 55 to 65 days to maturity. So if I go on the lower end, 55, and then add 6 weeks if I started it indoors, which would be 42 plus 55, that's 97 days that I would have to before this starts producing. And so I figured I'm going to try all of these that have very quick maturity dates to plant and see if I can get another round of tomatoes going, because the tomatoes have not been my friend. I've gotten lots and lots of small tomatoes, but not very many big slicers, and so I'm just going to try for another round. I've actually have a gallon Ziploc bag of tomatoes. Some were Romas that I got, and I've froze them to use later on in this year. But I definitely wanted to try some more of these. Like my Florida 91, hornworm completely ate it, and then the heat, and it just never came back. And this one's cutting it close because it says it takes 75 days to maturity, but I'm going to try it anyway. So what I did was I had this tray and it has 32 cups in it, and I just planted about 3 or 4 seeds in each cup. That was about 2 days ago, so I don't see any sprouting yet. And I have the heat on. I've been bottom watering. Inside of this glass room, which I call it, stays really, really cool in here because this part of my house is really shaded, and so between the shade and the AC and the floor, because we do have it does have AC in this room, it stays pretty cool in here, especially at nighttime. And so I put the heat on in here. I've been bottom watering, just making sure that the soil's staying moist, because I want the heat and the moisture to cause these tomato seeds to germinate pretty fast, so that I know that I can almost guarantee a harvest later on before the frost comes. And if not, it would just be a fun experiment. I know I'm actually really late to do this. If you want to start a second round of tomatoes, according to the Farmer's Almanac for my area, it would have been like mid-June, so I'm a month behind, but I'm gonna risk it and try it anyway. So I'll definitely bring you guys along when I'm planting those out and let you know how those do. But I also have these potatoes that I grew, and some of them had started sprouting when I took them out, and then since I've just let them sit here, they've been sprouting as well. And so I definitely want to get another round of potatoes going into the ground, into the soil. This is the last basket that I pulled out, and some of them have not started producing eyes, but some have. I just want to go through here and pull out the ones that, you know, are starting to get eyes, form eyes on them, and then replant them. I've never actually planted a second round of potatoes, but since I have these and they already started sprouting, I figured why not. And according to the Farmer's Almanac, we still have enough time. Like I said, we have a long growing season, because I am in coastal South Carolina, zone 8B. So our first estimated frost this year isn't to November 5th. For the past couple years, it's been November 2nd, and I do remember one year it did freeze on November 2nd, but then like it went down to exactly 32 degrees, but it shot up pretty quickly, and then we had another 2 weeks frost free. So you just never know. It's like hit or miss. Someone asked me, I think when I got into a video, about the goats, so we're gonna walk over there and see the goats. So this is our boy goats. We have Bishop and Deacon, and they are right next to our egg layer chickens. We have Chubby Cheeker, my daughter's chicken, right there. We have our house arrest chickens, the Polish chickens, and there. Looks like they need water. So I already see Honors over there with her baby. We see Winona. Let's see. Hi! What happened? You think I have a treat? I don't. I don't have a treat. That's what you're just looking for? Huh? See? She's doing good. Right? Winona is all about the treats. She's like, I'll let you pet me if you have treats. Where Honor, she wants to be all in your business, even if you don't have treats. Right, Honor? Huh? What happened? Oops, I caught you peeing. So now they'll probably follow me back to the gate, because that's what they like to do when I do come over here. So to separate our property, we use this, I guess, field fencing. And did you know that a goat could fit through here? Where is she? Lucy, all the way over there, Winona's girl baby, she stretched out some of these down here, these holes down here. Let me see if I can find some. And she can fit through, like she stretched this, and fit through because my fruit trees were not protected. And she ate the leaves off of about 5 of my fruit trees. We kept coming out here. The kids would tell me like, Lucy's free. And I'm like, she cannot fit through that hole. I mean, she's not that small. And then one day we saw her fit through, and she literally can squeeze her body and fit through. And she had been over here in the orchard eating my fruit trees because I was seeing that they were bent. Let me show you. So this one I saw was bent, and it wasn't like that, as well as this one. And then one day I saw her out here and she was jumping on, I think, that one, about to eat it. And you can see where she's munched on all of those leaves right there. She completely took all that leaf. Those are weeds, obviously. We have the ducks over here, and so what we did was we took the perimeter 1 fencing. Instead of just having it around in a circle, we made it to connect with this gate and trapped them in to have all my fruit trees protected. If she does get out again, she can't eat my fruit trees. This area we want to fence in anyway because this is going to be the home. This is going to be my orchard. But I'm thinking about connecting it starting from the outside of, or I guess my driveway, and then making it either go straight across, because I don't really want to have to make the driveway come out longer. Since this post is already here, this corner post, I thought like get some use out of it, just connect it and make it go straight across. The problem with that is I don't think all of my fruit trees would fit in this area. And so that is what makes me want to come out further and then make the orchard wider. So still working on that, but I can't think about that right now because I have lots of other things to think about before I think about orchard. Maybe when the weather cools down, we'll start working over there. But while it's still hot, we are just working on this garden area. These 3 beds were the last 3 beds that I put in, and I think we had at the time, it was our ducks or chicken bedding, and then I just put soil on top, and then I've just been burying stuff or having the kids throw stuff on top like dead plants, or these are from the Tigger melons that we took the seeds out of, and so we've just been layering this. But I'm thinking about actually going ahead and planting some bean seeds here, just like a pack of beans that you get from the store for like $1 or whatever, and planting them there, and then letting them compost in place, like not pulling them out, because if you didn't know, beans do produce nitrogen in the nodes, I think they're called, on the roots. And so if you leave the roots of the bean plant in the ground, that's what produces the nitrogen in your soil. And with me knowing that I put chicken bedding or duck bedding in there, even though they have high nitrogen, and then the pine shavings would be the carbon, and it might break down, I want to just go ahead and get something planted in there, because there was weeds like morning glory taking over, and I rather have instead of it sitting empty, plant a cover crop in there and let it be useful for next year and be good and ready to plant stuff in without having to fertilize it. These beans on this trellis looks so good. These are all of the ones that I'm leaving, and you can see these green ones have already started drying out, but all of these, like, this is still producing so much. This is not a pole bean, a noodle bean. I forgot what this is. Some kind of pole bean variety, but I forgot what it is. But I'm leaving these as well to have more seeds, because I did plant, these were the last seeds that I had, and I used them all up. And again, here you can see where I think this was the green one. It has dried up and I can feel seeds in there. I did not worry about cross-pollination on my plants. So like I'm saving cucumber seeds, but those Suyo long cucumbers, they were actually the only cucumber planted by themselves, pretty secluded, and so I'm not worried about those cross-pollinating. But some of like my tomato varieties that I've saved seeds from, they were planted. I did have one like tomato right next to them, but in some cases I didn't, and I'm still going to save seeds because even if it doesn't produce the same exact tomato that I planted this year, it will produce a tomato next year if, you know, I don't have seeds for that, and I just want to grow a tomato. Even if it's not the same exact one, it will still produce a tomato. I actually grew a yellow, I think it was called a baby doll watermelon. It was a yellow watermelon from Haas Tools. It was very personal size. I don't think I did a video. If I did, I'll insert it on the video that I'm making right now. But it tasted really good, and it's an F1 hybrid. And so I did save the seeds from it, but next year when I plant it, or if I try to plant it again for like a second crop, which is what I was thinking, I might not, like most likely will not get the same baby doll watermelon, super compact, it fit in your hand, but it will produce a watermelon. And so, you know, it is, I know that a lot of people think that for like you hybrids, you can't save the seeds from it. You can, it just might not be the same plant that you got this first season, because that was a cross between two different plants. And so I'm going to try and grow the seeds that I took out of that watermelon of the baby doll and see. First of all, I'm going to start them inside to see if I get them to germinate, and then I'm going to plant it outside because I think I have enough time left in my growing season to get a second round of that baby doll, specifically watermelon, because it wasn't like a long season crop, and see what we get. And it's just going to be all an experiment and a learning experience, and we'll see what comes from it. But thank you guys. I'm going to go inside now for hanging out with me on this hot day, and I'll see you guys next time.